Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have Kids Baking Championship. This is a number of Food Network related, originated, I should say, originated series, food baking competitions. They have a summer baking competition championship. They have a spring baking championship. But out of the three that are currently on Disney Plus, I decided to choose the Kids Baking Championship because one, hey, you know what, Disney has always been a kids centric type of network and everything else. So I figured, and also it'll be a little bit different than all the, I don't know, adult cooking, baking competitions that we have on here, where it's literally just adults who are like chefs in their own restaurants, and they're super elites, and they can make anything into something incredible. So I decided, you know what, the kids, yeah, they're 10, 12, whatever they are, they could make something interesting. And it'd be interesting to see them do something creative rather than adults talking crap about each other while they bake or cook or whatever. So we got the Kids Baking Championship. Just be aware there's spring and summer, and there might be more coming when it comes to the baking championship type of stuff from originally the Food Network. This is from 2015 to 2025, 7 seasons. However, not all the seasons. Well, it says 7 seasons, but it goes all the way to season 14, probably even further. Don't really know. But I started with season 1, episode 1 from 2015, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So, yeah. This is hosted by Duff Goldman and Valerie Bertinelli. You know her from, One Day at a Time. And she was also once married to Eddie Van Halen, I believe, right? Oh God, I can't believe my brain has erased that knowledge. Anyway, she's also a chef. She's a baker. She's written a cookbook about baking and things like that. So makes them good judges. They not only introduce the show, they sort of encourage the kids as they go along, question some of their ideas, and introduce the show. But they also judge all of the choices. So it's not just some random judge they bring in from a fancy schmancy kind of place that 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 will crush children's spirits with their cruel, just awful critiques. Now, understand that because the kids get to know these two, and then, so they're friendly with them. They're like, "Oh my gosh, they're so great!" And I honestly, I can't imagine that there's a ton of kids outside of those obsessed with baking that even know who Duff or Valerie are. But still, they're my generation. Valerie in particular, for my generation. So what we get here is like 8 kids at a time, brought in from all over the country, and they are given a specific challenge with specific ingredients, and of course but they're given 2 hours as compared to, say, like the adult ones when they have the cooking challenges and championships. They get 30 minutes. They get like 5 minutes to pick their ingredients, come up with an idea, and then then they have to battle each other, and they have to steal things from each other. It seems a little bit cruel, and I don't think they put the kids through that level of pressure. They do, however, throw in about an hour into their cooking, throw in a mystery new ingredient that they have to incorporate into their cooking, and that sometimes can be going against everything they're already working on. And the episode I watched here, they threw peanut butter and jelly in, and they had to also, the challenge was to make sure that what they were cooking would have been something you would find at a bake sale. That's not just, look, here's my most glorious endeavor that I've ever created, and where do you go from there? From the start, you definitely want to make it to the next level and the next episode and everything else, but they gotta have a constraints. So in this case, it couldn't be something too outrageous or outlandish. It had to fit in with the whole bake sale concept. And you get to see these kids who are really, really intensely thrown into the deep end, and they know what they're doing, and they're putting everything together, and you get to see how they make decisions. Part of me has to wonder if they had to have some kind of insight as to what they were going to do that would have worked with whatever ingredients were thrown at them or whatever the specific challenge would have been. I don't know. I don't know how these things are structured. I do not like reality TV shows, and so I avoid them. I don't like the competition stuff either. But I have to admit, I was a little drawn in as to how this would come out. I was rooting for the kids. There's one of the kids is probably somewhere living not far from me, maybe, or he's probably in college now because it's been 11 years since this episode aired. So yeah, I think he's like 10 in this episode or this season, and yeah, so he's got to be like 21. Crazy. Just how and it doesn't look outdated or anything, but again, it's only 11 years, so it's not like they're wearing bell bottoms and flowered shirts and Nehru jackets or anything. So we get to see these kids fluctuate between panic and utter confidence, and it's boys and girls just from all over. So it's 10. Okay, they are supposed to be all 10 to 13-year-olds. So yeah, the oldest was 13, the youngest was 10. So you're definitely keeping them within the same general range of knowledge and social level, I guess. Because you're not going to throw a 6-year-old in against even the 10-year-olds, because 6-year-olds are not going to be like, I made no bake cookies. Maybe some kids are geniuses, but yeah. So yeah, it's meant to make things fun and make things interesting, make things challenging for each of them, because they are pretty much some of the most fantastic baker kids in the country, according to these guys, as how they were cast on this show. The most difficult part of this is, of course, by the end of the episode, 2 of them are going to be cut. And what you get when you have kids, unlike when you have adults, when they cry, it's a little bit more heartbreaking than, say, an adult who's just like, yeah, I've been talking crap the entire thing, and just like call that lady a B word, and I'm going to just say, I'm going to kick your butt, and I'm surly the entire time, and I'm going to work hard and get this thing done. And then at the end, they're like, oh man, I really thought I would make it. And just, I know what I'm doing, and I just got to try better next time. Hopefully I'll come back someday or something. And so that's an adult. But it's when you see these sweet kids, and they tried their hardest, and that there's a lot, they can do things that I cannot even come close to doing. They get told, oh, you're not coming back. You too? Sorry. The thing you burned, or the recipe didn't work out the way you thought it was. Some of these are fantastic, but one little thing was not so good, and you just see they're on the verge of just breaking down. And I don't doubt they broke down backstage. I wouldn't blame them. But yeah, it's really sad just to like, hey, I'm nice Valerie Bertinelli and Duff, and we're gonna make you cry. And just make sure that that you're a great cook and you're a great baker and you're really good at what you're doing. Something didn't work out this time. Yeah, that's why I couldn't really watch more of these. It's just, yeah, it's difficult. I only watched the one episode. I got the concept. So the Food Network's Kids Baking Championship, the Spring Baking Championship, the Summer Baking Championship, and then who knows how many others are going to show up here and there, or if they'll get pulled off and made Hulu exclusives at some point right now that I've talked about them, as things seem to happen. We'll see how that goes. But so that was how it is. The battery's almost dead on this thing, so we're going to pick this real fast. Come on, let's pick tomorrow's episode. 71. Being that we have so few things left, it feels like we just had something like 71, close to 71, and we had 72. But, yeah, this is one of the kind of things that I'm not really a big fan of. It's a kind of reality crime thing. So, yeah, some of you will be much more familiar with this person than I am. I think we might have done something recently or last quarter that had to do with this person and their drama and what happened. This is called "Search for the Truth: The Amanda Knox Story." Yeah, some of you may know who Amanda Knox is, and so you already know what's going to happen, what's going on. I do not. At least I don't recall. If I did, if I watched a different documentary in the last few months, it's already been erased from my head. Search for the Truth: The Amanda Knox Story is what we're watching next in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.